The generous marriage incentive program. Marry a Hungarian woman and receive $63,000. This is completely real. The Hungarian government has introduced one of the most generous family support programs in Europe to promote marriage and raise the birth rate. The benefits include cash rewards, lifetime tax breaks, and even a family car. Newly married couples can get an interest-free loan of $27,100 simply by committing to have children. If they have one child, the repayment is delayed. If they have 3 children, the loan is completely canceled. Women under 40 who are marrying for the first time can also receive an additional $36,000 interest-free. All they need to do is have 3 children within the set time period, and the debt disappears. Families with 3 or more children can receive a free 7-seater car from the government through the family car program. The most impressive part is that Hungarian mothers with 4 or more children are granted a lifetime exemption from paying income tax. This might be the only policy in the world that truly makes having children a long-term financial advantage. Hungarian women, often called the muses of Eastern Europe. These women blend classic beauty with a natural grace. Their deep amber eyes, finely shaped noses, fair skin, and dark or deep brown hair create a striking mix of Austrian, Turkish, and Slavic traits that make them unmistakably unique. And most can speak at least 2 foreign languages, usually English and German. Walk through Budapest and you will see women stepping off the metro in long dresses, wool coats, and high heels. Curious about how to make friends, start conversations, or even date one of these smart, beautiful Hungarian women? Type number 1 below. We'll share the most fun and effective tips. The Pig Beauty Contest. The Pig Beauty Pageant is a yearly traditional and humorous festival held to celebrate farming and bring joy to the community. It takes place every year in late March or early April in the village of Hajmas, located in southwestern Hungary. The event is organized with care and formality, following the style of major human beauty contests. The contestants are female pigs from local farms, chosen carefully for the show. Before the competition, each pig is washed and groomed to look its best. Some are decorated with ribbons or small floral wreaths. During the event, owners lead or carry their pigs along a red carpet, giving the judges a chance to admire their posture and personality. The judging panel, made up of skilled farmers, scores the pigs based on features like size, weight, cleanliness, and the shine of their skin and coat. A bright pink snout is often praised as a sign of beauty. The pig that best meets all the standards of being plump, healthy, attractive, and elegant earns the title of Pig Beauty Queen. The winner receives a cabbage crown and plenty of edible treats. More than just a source of fun, the event serves as a warm tribute to Hungarian farming and rural traditions. Did you know that the way people name themselves in Hungary is quite unique? Before we continue, don't forget to hit the notification bell, share this with your friends, and subscribe if you haven't already. The unique naming culture of the Hungarians. For Hungarians, a name is much more than an ID. It is a marker of a language, culture, and social order. From how names are arranged to the rules for naming children and the customs around a new name after marriage, everything follows careful, meaningful guidelines grounded in their identity. To start, one detail that often surprises visitors is the order of Hungarian names compared with much of the Western world. In places like the United States or Western Europe, people usually say the given name before the family name. But Hungarians reverse this. The family name comes first and the given name follows. This makes Hungary one of the few European countries whose pattern is closer to Vietnam, China, and Japan. Another notable feature is that choosing a child's name in Hungary is not only up to the parents, but also guided by the state. Working through the Hungarian Academy of Sciences, the government keeps an official list of approved names separated by gender. If parents want a name that is not on the list, they must file a request for review and permission. The goal is to protect the Hungarian language, keep naming consistent, and avoid names that sound awkward, improper, or hard to pronounce in Hungarian. It shows deep respect for the national tongue. A further distinctive custom is the change to a woman's name after marriage. By long tradition, a wife may take her husband's name with the suffix "ne," meaning wife of. Modern practice offers more choice, and many women keep a maiden name, use a combined form, or adopt only the husband's surname. Yet the traditional style still appears often in formal settings and records. This practice highlights the value placed on family identity and respect, where a name reflects both the person and the ties of kin. In sum, the Hungarian naming system is a cultural code that carries history and identity. These firm rules add to the nation's unique character, giving Hungary a classical yet singular presence at the center of Europe. A unique wedding tradition. If you imagine European weddings as always formal and traditional, a Hungarian wedding will surprise you right away, because here the bride might actually be kidnapped during the celebration. This is part of an old folk custom where the bride is hidden, and the groom must complete playful tasks such as singing, dancing, or getting guests to raise a toast before you can find her. A Hungarian wedding is far more than a ceremony. It is a cheerful, energetic, and noisy festival that can go on for up to 3 days. The bride usually wears a handmade embroidered gown that can weigh between 15 and 20 pounds, along with a headscarf representing adulthood. The groom, on the other hand, often struggles to keep his balance after enjoying a few glasses of the traditional drink called palinka. Rather than having a tall wedding cake, like in American weddings, Hungarian celebrations offer a wide variety of homemade pastries prepared by mothers and grandmothers for days beforehand. With lively folk music, endless wine, and dancing that lasts until morning, Hungarian weddings stand out as some of the most joyful and unforgettable festivities in the world. Would you dare to kidnap the bride and take her home? Comment yes if you're bold enough, or no if you'd rather play it safe. The Amphibious Bus Adventure. Welcome to River Ride in Budapest, where you could be riding a bus one moment and floating on a river the next. It is known as one of the most unique sightseeing buses in the world. At first glance, it looks like an ordinary double-decker tour bus with soft seats, a tour guide, and scenic routes passing landmarks such as the Parliament Building, Buda Castle, and Andrassy Avenue. But here comes the surprise when it reaches the Danube River. The driver speeds up and drives straight into the water, to the delighted cheers of amazed tourists. This is not a visual trick. The River Ride is one of the few amphibious vehicles in Europe, built with NATO-grade anti-sink technology. Passengers don't need to change vehicles. They simply fasten their seatbelts and continue their journey floating along the calm waters of the Danube. There's more. River Ride only operates when water conditions are completely safe, making it a rare and special experience. Many American visitors call it the only bus they have ever seen that can swim. If you ever get the chance, this shape-shifting ride is one adventure worth taking. The Paternoster Elevator Experience. One of the most unusual things you might encounter almost every day in Hungary is the Paternoster Elevator, a constantly moving lift without doors or buttons, where you must carefully time your step to get in or out while it is still in motion. Although this type of elevator is rare in most parts of the world, in Hungary, especially in older buildings across Budapest and other large cities, it has long been a familiar part of everyday life, unlike modern elevators with control panels and automatic doors. The Paternoster works as a chain of small cabins that move continuously in a loop. This creates a smooth, old-fashioned ride that requires quick reflexes and precise timing. Miss your chance to step in, and you simply wait for the next cabin to come around. For most Hungarians, using it feels completely natural, just another simple task in their daily routine. The beer clinking taboo. In Hungary, you never ever clink beer glasses together. It's not just considered rude, it's a cultural taboo that runs so deep. Locals will give you genuinely uncomfortable looks if you raise a beer glass and shout, "Cheers," with a loud clink. This small gesture has a painful history behind it. In 1849, after the Austrian army executed 13 Hungarian generals, the Austrian officers celebrated their victory by clinking beer glasses. In response, Hungarians vowed never to make that gesture for 150 years. Although that vow officially ended in 1999, many people still honor it today as a sign of respect and national pride. Interestingly, clinking is acceptable when drinking wine or palinka, a traditional plum spirit, but never with beer. Even in modern bars, staff might gently remind tourists who forget this custom. So, when you are in Hungary, remember to raise your glass, smile, and sip, just don't clink. Keep the tradition or break the rule. What would you do when drinking beer in Hungary? Comment below and share your thoughts. The Children's Railway. In the Buda Hills, just 30 minutes from downtown Budapest. There's a railway that operates like something out of a children's fantasy novel. The ticket sellers, conductors, announcers, and even traffic controllers are all kids. This is the Gyermekvasút, or Children's Railway, and it's a fully functional train line that welcomes tourists daily. This isn't a theme park attraction or a pretend railway. It's a real transportation system over 7 miles long, running on a regular schedule with actual passengers. The remarkable twist is that all operational roles except for the engineers are filled by school children under close adult supervision. These kids participate about once every 2 weeks, but only if they maintain good grades in school. Many of them see this responsibility as a tremendous point of pride. Their first real job where they learn responsibility, teamwork, and customer service while sporting adorable blue uniforms and bright red caps. The Budapest Children's Railway is the only one of its kind still active in Europe. A leftover from the Soviet era that has been transformed into a unique educational symbol and vibrant piece of community culture. It represents the Hungarian approach to education, where children learn through real responsibility rather than just theoretical study. Watching these young conductors professionally check tickets, make announcements, and coordinate train operations is both charming and impressive. They take their roles seriously, and passengers often comment on how polite and competent these child workers are compared to adult staff in other transportation systems. The sacred number 96. Budapest may be one of Europe's most stunning capitals, but you won't find a single skyscraper anywhere in the city. The reason is a sacred number that controls the entire urban landscape 96. This isn't just an architectural preference or city planning guideline. It's an unspoken but strictly enforced rule that no building in Budapest can exceed 96 meters in height. This number marks the year 896 when the ancient Magyar tribes settled the land, considered the official birth year of Hungary as a nation. Two of Hungary's most important national landmarks, the Hungarian Parliament Building and St. Stephen's Basilica, are both exactly 96 meters tall, and this height represents the legal maximum for any structure in the city. When a real estate development firm once proposed building a giant 20-meter financial tower, the project was permanently rejected specifically because it would violate this sacred height limit. But the obsession with 96 doesn't end with architecture. The Hungarian national anthem is traditionally performed in exactly 96 seconds. You'll find 96 steps in historic plazas, 96 pillars in old assembly halls, and countless other subtle references to this number throughout Hungarian culture and architecture. It's a constant, subtle reminder of national roots and identity that most visitors never notice, but that shapes the entire visual character of Budapest. While other European capitals race to build taller and more modern structures, Budapest has chosen to preserve a skyline that honors its founding moment over 1,000 years ago. The upside-down houses of Hungary. One of Hungary's most bizarre and unbelievable architectural attractions is something that will make you question the laws of physics: completely upside-down houses. These aren't optical illusions or art installations. These are actual structures built completely opposite from traditional homes, with the roof on the bottom and what should be the basement on top. It may sound absolutely absurd, but these upside-down houses represent a bold symbol of Hungarian architectural creativity and the country's willingness to embrace the unconventional. These structures grab attention not only because they look impossible, but also because of the playful, humorous spirit they embody. They represent the experimental and unconventional mindset that Hungarian architects and designers bring to their work. The most famous example features everything inside flipped as well. The furniture, decorations, kitchen appliances. Even the toilets are all installed upside down, creating a completely disorienting but unforgettable experience for visitors. Walking through these houses requires you to completely rewire your brain's understanding of how interior spaces should function. What makes this even more remarkable is that these aren't just tourist gimmicks. They represent a serious architectural philosophy about challenging assumptions and creating spaces that force people to see the world from a completely different perspective. Visitors often report that spending time in an upside-down house changes how they think about conventional architecture and design for weeks afterward. These houses have become popular attractions for tourists seeking unique photo opportunities. but they also serve as a deeper commentary on Hungarian creativity and the country's willingness to turn conventional wisdom literally upside down. The birthplace of a global craze, the Rubik's Cube. The Rubik's Cube, one of the world's most famous inventions and a symbol of intelligence and creativity worldwide, was created right here in Hungary. Invented in 1974 by Hungarian professor Erno Rubik, this seemingly simple puzzle quickly became a global sensation that has driven millions of people around the world to take on its intellectual challenge. Originally, Rubik created the cube as a teaching tool to help his students understand three-dimensional geometry and spatial relationships. He had no idea he was creating what would become one of the best-selling toys in history. Today, more than 350 million Rubik's Cubes have been sold worldwide, making it one of the most successful puzzle games ever created. What started as an educational tool has grown into a cultural phenomenon, beloved by all ages and backgrounds. The Rubik's Cube has become a symbol of genius and innovation, representing the kind of creative problem-solving that Hungary is known for. The cube has evolved far beyond just being a toy. International competitions now draw elite speedcubers who can solve the puzzle in under 5 seconds, leaving audiences completely amazed by the combination of mental agility and finger dexterity required to achieve such incredible times. With its record-breaking success and lasting popularity spanning over 50 years, the Rubik's Cube remains an irreplaceable icon of Hungarian innovation, and a perfect example of how a simple idea from a Hungarian professor can capture the imagination of the entire world. Budapest's dual personality and nightlife. Not many people realize that Budapest, one of Europe's most charming capitals, used to be two completely separate cities, Buda and Pest, divided by the deep blue Danube River. This historical division still defines the city's character today in fascinating ways. Buda, on the west side of the river, remains historic and calm, home to Buda Castle, Gellert Hill, and cobblestone streets that look exactly like they did in the Middle Ages. It's where you go for history, architecture, and peaceful walks through ancient neighborhoods. Pest, on the east side, is younger, livelier, and serves as the financial, artistic, and nightlife heart of the modern city. When the sun sets, Budapest transforms into a completely different world, revealing a uniquely Hungarian approach to nightlife that's unlike anywhere else in Europe. After 9 p.m., the city flips a switch. Ruin pubs, bars created from old Soviet-era buildings, light up throughout District 7. These aren't your typical bars. They're architectural adventures where you might find an American DJ spinning electronic beats, while a French bartender mixes cocktails and a group of Hungarian intellectuals debates philosophy over shots of palinka. You'll hear jazz, techno, and folk fusion echoing from ruins that were once abandoned buildings. Streets like Cuisine and the Gozdu courtyard stay alive all night, with trams running until morning. Hungarian women confidently sip red wine alone and strike up conversations with visitors, displaying a calm confidence and gentle directness that's distinctly Hungarian. Many locals will share a fascinating secret. Numerous old houses in Pest still contain underground shelters from World War II, with tunnels connecting to neighboring buildings. Some of these spaces have been converted into unique underground bars and clubs, creating a nightlife scene that literally has hidden depths. The world's most beautiful historic cafes. One of the things that amazes tourists most about Hungary isn't the majestic Danube River or the postcard-perfect bridges. It's Hungary's unique and elegant coffee culture that operates by completely different rules than anywhere else in the world. In 2022, Budapest was ranked among the world's top 10 cities with the most distinctive cafe culture. And once you understand why, you'll see this ranking is completely deserved. Hungary has created its own coffee universe, where cafes are far more than just places to drink coffee. They've served as social, philosophical, artistic, and political hubs for centuries. And here's the twist that will blow your mind nowhere else in the world. Do people drink coffee this slowly and deliberately? In Hungary, people don't just sip coffee, they live in cafes. Each establishment has its own history, character, and regular clientele. Some cafes have special tables reserved just for novelists working on their next book, or for elderly artists who gaze out the same window every morning while contemplating their next masterpiece. Budapest alone has over 500 cafes just in the downtown area. Many of these date back to the 19th century and are decorated with golden ceilings, crystal chandeliers, marble tables, and feature live classical music performances. Café Gerbeau and the New York Cafe are often called the most beautiful cafes in the entire world. Places where you can slow down and immerse yourself in an atmosphere that feels like a spiritual experience. American tourists are consistently surprised by one thing. How can Hungarians sit for 3 or 4 hours with just one cup of coffee? The answer reveals something profound about Hungarian culture. For Hungarians, coffee isn't just a beverage or a caffeine delivery system. It's a way of life, a social institution, and a form of meditation all rolled into one. These cafes serve as places to discuss love, music, politics, philosophy, or simply to sit alone and feel time passing at a more human pace. The conversations that happen in Hungarian cafes are deeper, more thoughtful, and more meaningful than what you'll find in the grab-and-go coffee culture of most other countries. This is why many visitors come to Hungary once and never want to leave. It's not just the scenery or the famous thermal baths. It's the experience of drinking a single cup of coffee in a quiet, beautiful space where time slows down and your soul feels truly alive. The national cuisine obsession. While some countries pride themselves on delicate, refined cuisine, Hungary goes for bold, hearty, and proudly flavorful food that will challenge everything you think you know about European cooking. Did you know that crispy pork fat melted onto bread is basically considered a national treasure? This delicacy, known as konyar salonával, isn't your average snack. It's a rustic barbecue ritual where pork fat is grilled over an open fire, and its golden drippings sizzle onto fresh bread like precious oil. This might sound unusual to American palates, but in Hungary, it represents the essence of traditional comfort food. The ritual of preparing and sharing konyar salonával brings families and friends together around the fire, creating memories and maintaining connections to agricultural traditions that go back centuries. No conversation about Hungarian food is complete without discussing goulash, though most people outside Hungary have never tasted the real thing. Authentic Hungarian goulash isn't quite soup and isn't quite stew, but it's an iconic national dish that's paprika-packed and soul-warming. Paprika isn't just a spice in Hungary, it's practically a religion, with an actual museum dedicated to this beloved red powder that defines Hungarian cuisine. But the culinary adventures don't stop there. Hungary offers sausages made from horse meat, which might sound shocking, but represent centuries of nomadic Magyar traditions. There's langos, a deep-fried flatbread loaded with cheese, garlic, and sour cream that's sold at markets and festivals throughout the country. For dessert, try the Dobos torta, a 5-layer, 20-ingredient masterpiece cake that was once the pride of old Budapest's finest confectionaries. This isn't just a cake. It's an architectural achievement in sugar, butter, and chocolate that requires genuine skill to create properly. And if you're interested in wine, Hungary produces Tokaji, known as the king of wines. This sweet dessert wine was so highly regarded that Napoleon kept bottles in his private cellar, and it was considered one of the finest wines in all of Europe for centuries. Hungarian cuisine represents the country's approach to life: bold, unapologetic, deeply rooted in tradition, and designed to bring people together around shared experiences that create lasting memories. These 15 facts reveal why Hungary is unlike anywhere else on Earth. Hungary operates by its own unique logic that blends ancient traditions with modern innovation in ways that seem almost magical. What makes these facts even more remarkable is that they're not just tourist curiosities or historical artifacts. They're living, breathing parts of Hungarian culture that locals experience every single day. Hungary proves that in our increasingly globalized world, it's still possible for a country to maintain its distinctive character, preserve its traditions, and create policies and customs that reflect its own values rather than simply copying what everyone else is doing. Which of these facts surprised you the most? Have you ever experienced anything similar in your own country or travels? Let me know in the comments below which Hungarian tradition you'd most like to experience yourself. And if you're planning a trip to Hungary after watching this video, tell me which of these unique attractions you're most excited to see in person. If you enjoyed discovering these incredible facts about countries around the world, make sure you're subscribed, because next week I'm revealing 15 equally mind-blowing facts about another country that will completely change how you see that nation too. You won't want to miss it. Thanks for joining me on this journey through Hungary's most fascinating secrets. Until next time, keep exploring the world's most amazing hidden truths.